take us back to the events of last week. We obviously know it's a tragedy for the area we were headed to, but a good portion of Liberty's roster is from states that may have been affected by the storm. Can you just talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, obviously a lot of that happened where we were playing, Upper East Tennessee, where I went to school. So there's a lot of friends and that I went to school with that got affected by that, and so we've been praying for that as a team, and some of our players, whether they were directly impacted because of where they're from, but they do have friends and families that were, and so it's a challenging time and a devastating time for that community. But one thing you know about the people there, they're resilient. And I know you're seeing stories about how people were rescuing different things and just what they're doing for others. It's pretty inspiring. And so, but we've been praying for those, and it makes you put in perspective that you still get to do a game. Now everybody, it makes it serious, but that's real life. What they're doing and what they're dealing with, and I've been proud of the guys and what they've been doing as far as from a prayer standpoint, from organizing different things to send money / supplies down there to different areas of need.
What were some of the things you mentioned? Some of the things that the guys are doing. What were?
Yeah, just by position group, getting money together and organizing that. Our Unity Council has been organizing that to be able to whether they're going to send money directly or buy water supplies up here and send down. They've been doing that, which is nice to see.
When you found out that there would be no game, take me into the planning room at that point and how you deal with one game over 30 some odd days, whatever. What was the planning at that point?
I think we found out 10:30 Friday morning is when, hey, I got a call and, hey, can we play it later Saturday? Are you willing to play on Sunday? And then it went to, hey, it's canceled, from that standpoint. And so, we had our meetings that morning. We were having meetings and having our team devotion. And then we were preparing to get on a bus and leave a little bit later, and so came in and told the team, and then after that, you start thinking about you had an open date or a mini open date, and you start figuring out how do we need to missing that game, whether there can be a positive from some guys getting back healthy, but also when you're in a routine and a rhythm, I think it makes it hard when you're basically going back to a fall camp almost with the number of games that you have in 1 month, and so there's going to be some challenges there. Hopefully we're able to overcome that in the schedule that we put together. But you try to do your best you can in those situations. They're challenging because there's not like there's a roadmap for it.
Some live scrimmages maybe.
No. I mean we can't go down with friendly fire. We're so far now. Can you do some things against each other to continue to hopefully iron sharpens iron a little bit? Yes, but I don't think we're at a point where we'll probably tackle each other just because this is one of those years where we've just had some injuries, and sometimes that happens. I mean, guys will fall down to the ground and you're holding your breath right now, and so we'll do some things to keep the intensity up, but as far as live scrimmage, no.
What conversations have you and Ian and the entire staff here had about how this impacts college football playoff outlook, the potential for rescheduling, and what you guys do from that particular angle?
We've not had, many. Obviously, Ian said, "Hey, we would like to reschedule if they're willing to, or find somebody else." We know that's going to be challenging because, what team out there is going to give up a bye date just to play an extra game? That's not happening, especially versus us. If somebody else had missed a game because of this, maybe that would worked out. But I don't know if anybody else really missed one. At least that's at our level from that standpoint because of the hurricane and some of those. So. It was a very brief discussion about that. Just the opportunity. One, not even more about a CFP, but more just you guys put in a lot of work and for opportunities to play, and that's one less they got to play. So you would like to find one for them to so they can compete again. But we did talk about it briefly and said, hey, I know he's been working on trying to see if there's anybody out there, but as of right now, we've not had much
So does that heighten the urgency? Have you noticed that from your team as far as wanting to seize the opportunity with the second half of the schedule here?
You know, I've not brought that up just because it's not that's something we've talked about a lot anyway. But I think our guys understand, you know, we talk to them that you only get so many guaranteed, one's gone, you know, and you need to make the most of those all the time. And we've had, you know, we've had they came back they're obviously off over the weekend, and we've had really good spirited practices. So I think there's at least as of right now, there's a great understanding of what we get to do, and don't take it for granted.
You mentioned this is a chance to maybe get a little bit healthier. Is Brylan Green going to be available to play with the long layoff? Maybe Jay Hardy going to be able to play?
Brylan is still in protocol right now, and so we're hoping, as long as there's no setbacks, he'll have a good shot to play. Jay is I would say no right now, just because with the injury, you also got to think we don't play again until October 23rd. So if somebody's not completely healthy, maybe let's say they're 80%, you hold off, and then hopefully they're 100 by that next one, right? And so that's what we're in the process of now with some of those guys is if some can come back completely healthy, then they're playing. If they're still not where they need to be, then you got an additional, what is that, another 2 weeks, I guess, or 2 weeks to hopefully get them healthy.
And then on JP Flores, he obviously made his way back out for the last game. Is he a big addition to the offensive line? What are you seeing out of that group now?
I think having him back was big. One, just from an experience standpoint, he's played a lot of football, and even though this was the first time playing for us, but nothing surprises him and all that. And so he played well in the game, and then also this gives him more time to get. He was not 100%, but we needed him. And this has allowed him to get back to where he's going to be, we believe, close to 100%. And so he's given us, he's been able to solidify up there. So now we've got a solid rotation where, you feel like you've got 7 guys. We were playing 6 to 7. But now you feel like you got 7 for sure, and now you got an 8th one, which is what you always want to have. You'd like to have 8 guys you can count on. Having him back, we feel gives us 8 in case there's some challenges and some different things that happen. So he's been awesome since he's been here, but it's been great to have him back.
Thoughts on FIU as you look at them on tape? You obviously had a little extra time to do that now. Impressions on them from this year to last year?
Yeah, I would think that their record is not I don't know the word. I'm not smart enough to figure that. Their record does not indicate how actually good they are. That's a good word, indicate. They played Indiana. Indiana's blowing everybody out. They played them really well first game of the year. Then they blew out of Central Michigan. Then FIU, FAU, they turned the ball over, and then they obviously lost to Monmouth. Then they played Louisiana Tech and really shut them down. And so I think they're well coached. They play extremely hard. I think defensively they've really upgraded their talent. Their DBs, their group of DBs is probably the best group of DBs in this league. They're really good as far as overall group. They play well, they play smart, they're physical up front. And then the quarterback makes a lot of plays. The running back's finally healthy, and he's got some playmakers. And so I think they're playing well. And I think they're obviously have extra time for us, and so it's going to be they're 1-0 in the league, right? So I mean it's for first place. That's what I look at. It's for first place in the league, and so we'll have to play well. We'll have to play discipline because if we go in and just try to show up and think, hey, we're going to roll the ball out, they'll beat us. Truth be told, so we have to play well to do that because I think they changed up some things on defense and they're playing really well there. And the quarterback and the skill guys always scare you a little bit.
Is their secondary pretty physical?
They are. They're physical. They cover well. They're very aggressive. I think they had, interception-wise, they're at, maybe 10 or something like that through 5 games, which is pretty good. They had 5 in one game. And so they returned one last week for maybe 2 weeks ago, 85 yards for a touchdown. And so they're ball hawkish. They're physical. They're very. I think they play with great instincts. They cover, but they play great instincts. They can see what route's coming and jump it. And so big challenge for us.
Time for one more for Coach.
Coach, do you think you guys are ready for a bunch of midweek games back to back to back? And how does that affect their preparation?
Yeah, I mean, right now, because we haven't played in forever, we'll be ready for anything. If you said we'll play it on any time, I think our guys, because we went through it, there's obviously some new guys that haven't, but it's way easier this year than it was. You know, last year we went from, if I'm not mistaken, we went from a Thursday to a Tuesday, and then I got into it this year. At least this year, it's it's a week or more in between, so it's like a normal deal. We changed our practice during fall camp a lot to try to mimic what a midweek would be. So our guys were out of a routine and all that, and so we're hoping that helps us a little bit, And so it's obviously always, I think, unique playing on a Tuesday or Wednesday, but it's awesome too because you're on national television. That's what those guys want to see, and we're going obviously at home games we're going to have a great crowd. And it gives us a chance to show off Liberty, show off our brand, what we're about, and so they better be ready to go.